Recall that time Jennie Kim didn't merely grace a stage, she ignited it. During BlackPink's early era, she wasn't just running with the idols, she was the fierce trailblazer deciding the speed of the games. Every step screamed purpose, every gaze was lethal, and every show oozed that starving ambition that draws the line between fleeting idols and true future icons. She was the vivid model of idol allure the benchmark stan Twitter and critics pointed to when discussing how to truly command a live stage. But as time ticked on, that image started to crack. Quietly, initially, then screaming with each new release, the chatter turned from worship to annoyance. Her stages began to look picky, as if maximum power was a bonus rather than the rule. The tag hit or miss infested the chat, trailed tight by that far deadlier toxic brand, "She is just simply lazy." For stans who recalled the heat she used to pack watching this narrative stick was gut-wrenching, not because they loved to hate, but because they knew precisely the beast she could really unleash. This explains why the news of her MMA 2025 set felt so huge. It wasn't just another gig on the list. This was her grand comeback to a massive Korean gala, a real shot to flip the script, hush the haters, and show the public why the name Jennie still holds such heavy, undeniable power. The pressure was massive. The hype was ruthless. This night was meant to be the moment everything snapped back to sheer perfection. But right from the first second, the vibe was weird. A clear weight dragged down her aura, a detached mood that hovered like a cloud over the entire arena. Before the track even dropped, a dark thought crept into the audience's brain. Is this honestly the return we craved, or are we staring at the start of a grim chat about stardom, mental exhaustion, and the cracks that appear when the stress becomes too much to hide now? To get how a single gig can flip the whole script on a superstar, don't move a muscle. Verify that sub button is hit and let's dive in, because this drama is barely warming up and you won't want to miss it. The show kicked off with a vibe that snatched you by the throat, a look designed to scream evolution-rich layers, and a serious artistic glow-up. Hiding under a massive fabric scribbled with old Hangul verses, Jennie posed not as a pop star but as a living icon. The lights bathed the scene in icy blue, morphing her into a shadow floating somewhere between classic history and a futuristic flashy spectacle. Theoretically, it was genius. This was the level of artsy drama you demand from the face of BlackPink's throne on one of the country's most massive, glitzy nights. Singing-wise, some bits landed. Her voice was chill, held back and steady on the tech side. She didn't scream or hunt for crazy high notes, letting the track's mood just flow. It was slick, classy, and without a doubt dripping in that high-end style. For a hot second, it seemed she was snatching back that Queen Bee energy she's sold us forever. The issue wasn't her initial choice, it was the punchline that simply ghosted us right after. That veil bit dragged, winding up the hype until it was about to snap. When she finally stepped out, the arena screamed for a bang, for a power spike that would make that long wait actually worth it. But the boom missed. Instead, the motion was dull, basically frozen. Her face looked blank, eyes dead like a body standing there while the mind was miles away. Instead of owning the zone, she looked like she was getting eaten by it. The clash between the idea and the reality made it weirder. The track screamed hustle, drive, and urban madness, but she appeared like she was already totally drained by the mere thought of it all. The moves were done but not felt. Every step seemed like a checklist item, not a vibe. The fire that used to make her shows feel risky and electric was gone, swapped for a safe, nearly timid routine that lacked any real bite. And that's where the awkwardness hit. When a pro like her holds back, it usually looks like a style choice. But when holding back sucks the soul out of a set, the crowd starts asking if it's a strategy or a sign of some much darker, deeper problem lurking beneath. If the start sparked whispers, the switch to the next song turned them into loud audits. This was meant to be the climax the second the script twisted and the vibe finally spiked to the max levels we all desperately wanted to see explode. This whole part was built for a comeback. The rhythm got harder, the moves got crisper, and the lens zoomed tight, basically daring her to lock eyes and rehook the millions streaming from their sofas now. Technically speaking, no huge errors occurred. Her action was sharp, neat, and managed well. Every single step hit the floor right where the map said. She nailed the beats, stayed on clock, and kept that frosty runway swag she's famous for. Looks-wise, it landed. She seemed pricey, unreachable, and dressed to kill for the brand she's been building as a worldwide solo diva superstar. But a show isn't just about hitting spots, it's about broadcasting, about flooding a giant venue with soul. And right here, the vacuum became way too loud to overlook. Despite perfect moves, the set felt robotic, like a body running on default settings. Zero emotional heavy lifting in the motion, no vibe that she was riding the track instead of doing math. It was shiny, sure, but completely empty inside. As the banger went on, we waited for a break in the wall, a grin, a flash of heat, a second where she'd attack the dance and remind us all why she grabs so many eyeballs and demands our total focus. That spark never lit. Instead, she seemed to collapse inside, getting small against the massive set rather than ruling it. The vibe flatlined and sat there, never crashing into a train wreck but never soaring to legendary status either. This is the mystery that irks supporters most. She's plainly skilled. The chops are real. The years are in the bag, man. But a key piece is AWOL. When a star hits this tier, trying hard ain't enough. The crowd demands purpose, a bond, and thirst. Without those ingredients, even the most spotless gig begins to feel like a total blur to us all. And as every tick went by, one awkward question kept popping up. What goes down when flawless is just boring habit and fire is just a maybe on the list? When the last song neared, hope turned into demand. This was supposed to be the mic drop, the second engineered to wipe away skepticism and scar our memories with something truly major epic. Looks-wise, it nearly landed. The fit was flawless, sewn to a T, grabbing the shine in a way that yelled A-list. For a short intro span, her sheer vibe carried the whole damn weight for us all. She knew the lens spots, how to tilt her frame, how to peddle the fake image of control. For a split moment, it felt like the return we'd all been thirsting for all year. Then truth hit hard. The live mic was basically off. Bars that should have grounded the show slid past, swapped almost fully for the playback. What made it tougher to overlook was the scene where this all unfolded. This wasn't a messy tour gig or a brutal encore set. This was a huge local trophy night, a prestigious slot where singing live isn't just a nice bonus, it is the bare minimum requirement now. Seeing whole bars go by without a vocal felt less like a tech option and more like totally running away. Even the dance couldn't fix this. The steps were there but lacked fire, as if done while battling gravity. The spirit never climbed high enough to excuse the dead silence on that handheld microphone now. When an icon puts the show above the voice, the show must explode. Here, it barely simmered. The split was blinding, the idea of a solo winner against the raw fact of a stage that felt oddly, sadly underbaked and totally half-assed now. What stayed wasn't rage but puzzle. Was this fatigue fry out, or a swap in values where looking good now matters way more than actually sounding capable? When a star stands there clutching a huge trophy, the crowd expects to hear the banger that won it. Instead, they were left asking just how much was being kept in the tank and for what reason. So where does this put the chat about Jennie Kim after MMA 2025? Stats-wise, the evening was still a massive dub. Bagging Record of the Year is huge, and her solo hits prove her name still holds insane gravity in the biz. The charts reacted, the judges reacted. It was all there, clear as day on screens. Professionally, she's totally peaking solo this year. But a gig isn't a graph, and for the lovers tracking her path, since the Genesis stats just don't spill the tea on the full complicated and messy emotional reality, no. When the spotlight died, a weird inequality hung in the air. The visuals were totally divine, the themes were daring, the image control was so bulletproof. Yet the true pulse of the act, real pipes that deep link the craving to crush it, felt like it was becoming just a side note. Strangely enough, it sparked an awkward vibe between the shiny prize she got and the hustle she showed. If the reward beats the work, the roasting is gonna happen 100%, honey. Here is where the slacker tag gets super tricky to dodge. It is not that lovers enjoy the drama, but the raw footage supports it. When power is held back, the crowd asks about the drive. Honestly, yeah. Is this the fallout of exhaustion in a field that devours people? Or is it the price of hitting a stratosphere where effort feels like a favor, not a requirement? That specific doubt is way more disturbing than any solitary failed pitch or forgotten verse is. She sits at a fork now. Path 1 is all about the face, the fit, and the enigma. Path 2 asks to bring back the savage blaze that once made her the idol you could not unsee seriously. Both routes guarantee a win, yet only one actually stops the whispers. And until we see that verdict live, this topic is staying put really okay. So tell me now, did the show match the massive hype, or did it just seal your doubt? Was the award okay, or should the live stage still matter at this level? Honestly, tell me my love, please. Put your true view in the chat, act respectful, and if you need more savage K-pop spills like this, be sure to like, sub, and click the bell. The saga isn't done, and you absolutely do not want to miss what is coming up next. Seriously, now.